good morning, good afternoon, whatever you think as per your timing now. And here I am again to discuss model answer of round 4, Maths 1. And the topic that you know, it is financial planning. Okay. So here, let's start with the discussion because paper pattern and everything you know. So, and question also you know, I'm just discussing the answers and how to get that answer. Question number 1, as per the pattern of board, multiple choice question, you have to select the correct option, in which first is the NAV. NAV means it is related to shares, that is net asset value of one, that means it is a value of one unit in the mutual fund. So the net asset value of a unit in mutual fund scheme is rupees 10.65. Then find the amount required to buy 500 such units. So if the cost of one unit is 10.65 rupees, so naturally to purchase 500 units, we require just multiply 10.65 into 500 and simply multiplication, or you can eliminate 1065. So simple multiply 1065 with 5 and you will get it as 5325, option number A. In short, however you can multiply, jitna kam samay lagate, it is very good. Second is the rate of GST on stainless steel utensil is 18%. Then the rate of state GST means SGST. So SGST is, so naturally SGST and CGST both are half of the total GST. So rate of GST 18% hai. So naturally the rate of state GST is 9%. And second question, coming to this, naturally it is of activity based, you have to complete the activity. But don't forget to write the complete solution. You have to write complete solution. And whatever you are filling up, you just make a box or underline it so that it should be clear what you have filled. So Smita has invested rupees 12,000 and purchased shares of face value rupees 10 at a premium of rupees 2. So face value rupees 10, premium rupees 2, find the number of shares she purchased. So naturally, the purchasing or selling is done on market value, and market value is face value plus premium or face value minus discount. Here is premium, so it is market value is equal to face value plus premium. 10 plus 2 is equal to rupees 12. So cost of one share is 12 rupees. So total value, number of shares will be total investment upon market value. So total investment 12,000, market value 12, and if you simplify this, you will get 1,000 shares. So simply Smita has purchased 1,000 shares. Coming to question number 3. Solve the following. These are also compulsory question as per the unit test pattern. Mr. Amol purchased 50 shares of face value rupees 100. So read the question carefully. So Mr. Amol purchased 50 shares of face value rupees 100 when the market value of the share was rupees 80. Company had given 20% dividend, and you know dividend always calculated on face value. Find the rate of return on investment. So here market value is rupees 80 for one share, face value rupees 100, and dividend given is 20%. So number of shares is 50, so rate of dividend 20%. So sum invested. So sum invested is number of shares into market value, that is 1520, that gives simply 4,000, simple calculation. And dividend per share is equal to 20% of face value, because dividend always calculated on face value. So it is 20% of 100 because face value was rupees 100. So that gives rupees 20. So total dividend of 50 shares becomes rupees 1,000. 15 to 20, 1,000. And now rate of return, it is calculated in percentage base. Total dividend received upon sum invested into 100%. So total dividend received rupees 1,000, sum invested 4,000 into 100%, and this simple calculation gives it is 25%. So rate of return on investment is 25%. You have to write the answer. Now, the same problem can be solved. The same problem can be solved for one share also. See, number of share here doesn't matter. For one share, if I want to calculate, then market value will be rupees 80. So for one share, sum invested rupees or investment is rupees 80, as face value rupees 100 and rate of dividend 20%. So for one share, dividend received is equal to rupees 20, 20% of rupees 100 face value. So for one share, dividend received 20, sum invested 80. So 20 upon 80 into 100%, it also gives 25%. See, rate of return is on expressed in percentage basis. So whether you will calculate it for one share or for all the shares, answer will be same, always same, because it is in percent basis. So I advise to calculate the rate of return. When you have to calculate only rate of return, go for calculation for one share only, not for all the share, because here you have to do large calculation or more calculations. Now, coming to second, I hope you understand what I want to say. Make your steps less, but perfection. Perfection यहाँ पर रहेगा. Second, Messrs. J Chemicals purchased a liquid soap having taxable value rupees 8,000. Here it is taxable value, means after deduction of all the discount or whatever it will be, and sold it to the consumers for the taxable value rupees 10,000. So MSJ Chemicals purchased liquid soaps worth rupees 8,000, means taxable value, and sold it after giving again discount and any etc. for taxable value rupees 10,000. And rate of GST, it is 18%. You have to find CGST and SGST payable by J Chemicals. How much he will pay? See, it is you can say like business to customer type of invoice, right? So at the time of purchase, J Chemical has to pay the GST, and at the time of selling, he will collect GST. And earlier, whatever he had paid, the GST, he will subtract from the GST collected, and that difference amount he has to pay as GST, including CGST and SGST. Now, how we can calculate? Do calculation separately, point wise. So rate of GST, it is say it will be same material. So rate of GST will be same for selling or purchasing, whatever it will be. On purchasing, taxable amount is rupees 8,000. So input tax means the tax paid at the time of purchasing, it was 18% of 8,000, because 8,000 was taxable value, that gives 1,440 rupees. Input tax at the time of paying, it will be input tax, but when he will take the credit of this, when he will subtract, it will become ITC. So ITC and input tax both are same, always same, but just the it is just the matter of symbols or how to represent. While taking the benefit, we use the word credit. So input tax credit, same input tax is equal to 1,440. At the time of selling, he sold it for rupees 10,000 to the consumer, and so taxable value rupees 10,000, and output tax that he collected 18% of 10,000, it is naturally rupees 1,800. So how much GST he has to pay? Out of 1,800, he has already paid 1,440 rupees. So he will take benefit of this. So it is called ITC. So 1,800 minus 1,400 equal to rupees 360, and that gives CGST. CGST naturally half of the total GST, half of 360, that is rupees 180, and SGST also equal to rupees 180. So in this way you can solve. See, terms are slightly different, others are same. Now, coming to question number 4. Henceforth, it is a somewhat longer question, so you have to read the question very carefully. Mr. Pandit purchased 300 shares of face value rupees 60. Face value rupees 60 at a premium of rupees 100. At the time of purchasing the share was at premium of rupees 100. He received 40% dividend on the shares. After purchasing, he received 40% dividend. After receiving dividend, he sold 200 shares out of 300. Out of 300, he sold 200 shares at a premium of rupees 40. Means, जो पहले earlier premium was rupees 100, it was came to rupees 40. Means the rate of share market value was decreasing. Then the remaining at a discount of rupees 10. Again, the falling of share value or market value of the share was still continuing. So he sold remaining shares when he got discount of rupees 10. For each trade, he paid the brokerage at the rate of 0.2%. And you know, brokerage always calculated on market value. Find whether Mr. Pandit gained or incurred a loss and by how much. So you see here steps are very important. The order of steps may change. It may change. But final answer will be same as if you cover all the steps, all the points, whatever mentioned in the book, in the question. Then here number of shares at the time of purchase. Number of shares purchased 300. Face value was rupees 60 and share was at the premium of rupees 100. So market value was rupees 160 and he purchased 300 shares. So sum invested, it was 160 into 300, 48,000. This was the sum invested. Yes, you are having one question that. Yes, I know. Here should be the brokerage, but yes, you can calculate brokerage here also and separate from 48,000, or you can calculate it at the last also. See how. Now, so keep in mind here brokerage has to calculate. Now, dividend received after purchasing at the rate of 40% and face value was rupees 60. Face value was rupees 60. So total dividend will be 40% of 60. This is dividend for one share and number of shares were 300. So into 300. So this is total dividend received and that was rupees 7,200. So first amount he received first amount as dividend, that is of rupees 7,200. Now, after receiving this dividend, he sold 200 shares. When the share was at premium of rupees 40. So market value was 60, that is face value plus premium 40 rupees 100. So market value was rupees 100. Now, sum received, how many amount he will receive? 200 into 100, that is rupees 20,000. But at this time we have calculated here, brokerage paid 0.2% of 100. That is brokerage on one share and number of shares sold, it was 200. So total brokerage paid, it was rupees 40. It was rupees 40. Now, number of shares swapped. So he received some amount and then later on, he sold the remaining shares, that is 100 shares, at a discount of rupees 10. So market value will be face value minus discount, that becomes 50 rupees, and number of shares sold 100. So amount received was 5,000. So brokerage paid, now here market value 50 rupees. So brokerage always calculated on market value. Keep in mind this. So it is 0.2% of 50 into number of shares 100. Okay. Then it gives total amount was rupees 10. So he paid brokerage of rupees 10. Now, I think you remember brokerage on first trade, that is at the time of purchasing of 300 shares. So brokerage on first trade 0.2% of 160. It was the market value at the time of purchase and he purchased 300 shares. So total brokerage paid at that time also, at the time of purchase, it was rupees 96. If you calculate this, you will get 96. So total brokerage paid. Total brokerage paid. It was rupees 96 at the time of purchasing plus 40 at the time of selling the first time 200 shares plus rupees 10 at the time of selling the second time share, that is 100 shares. So total brokerage he paid was rupees 140. So see how it becomes simple to calculate. Total amount received. How much amount he received? So he received first 1200 as dividend, 20,000 by selling 200 shares, 5,000 while selling remaining 100 shares, but he has paid rupees 146 as brokerage all the time, all three times. And remember, dividend is brokerage free. Brokerage or tax is not calculated on dividend because dividend is always paid by company directly to the shareholder. Okay. So that gives, if you calculate this, it gives 32,054. So total amount he invested, it was rupees 48,000. But how much amount he received? He received rupees 32,054. So what is profit or loss? So naturally, he invested 48,000 more amount. He received 32,054 rupees less. So he incurred a loss. How much? So Mr. Pandit has incurred a loss. And how much? Amount invested minus amount received. And that is rupees 15,946. This much loss he incurred. Okay. Now, let us come to next. Question number 5. Solve any one of the following. Again, read question carefully and do calculation properly. Srimati Aruna Thakkar purchased 100 shares of face value rupees 100 when the market value rupees 1200. She paid brokerage at the rate of 0.3% and 18% GST on brokerage. And remember, at the time of purchasing or selling of the share, GST always calculated only on brokerage. It is not calculated on market value, not on face value, not on dividend, nothing. It is always calculated only on brokerage because brokerage is the income of broker, share broker. That's why. Find the following. Net amount paid for rupees 100, for 100 shares. Brokerage paid on sum invested. GST paid on brokerage and total amount paid for 100 shares. Let us calculate. So face value rupees 100, number of shares 100, market value was 1200, brokerage. So all these things are given to us. Now let us calculate. Sum invested. How much sum she invested? So number of shares into market value. Number of shares 100 shares. Market value was rupees 1200. That gives rupees 1,20,000. So net amount paid for 100 shares was rupees 1,20,000. It is net amount, not total amount. It is net amount for 100 shares. That is given. Now brokerage, rate of brokerage was 0.3%. So she paid 0.3% of 1,20,000. That was rupees 360. This is the brokerage paid. GST, it is calculated only on brokerage. So 18% GST calculated on brokerage 360. It is rupees 64.80. So GST paid on brokerage is rupees 64.80. Now total amount paid for 100 shares. So total amount, it was sum invested 1,20,000. Brokerage paid rupees 360 and GST paid on brokerage rupees 64.80. So if you add all, it will give us rupees 1,20,424.80. Okay. So total amount paid for 100 shares is rupees 1,20,424.80. Okay. Now coming to next. For the given trading chain, prepare the tax invoice 1, 2, 3 GST at the rate of 12% was charged for the article supplied. Tax invoice 1, 2 and 3. So you have to calculate stepwise. First, prepare the statement of GST payable under each head by the wholesaler, distributor, and retailer at the time of filing the return to the government. At the end, what amount is paid by the customer consumer, and write the type of invoice issued for B2B or B2C. So for wholesaler, you can see for wholesaler, output tax, wholesaler taxable value 5,000. So he collected the GST, no information about the purchasing. So output tax only 12% of 5,000, that is rupees 600. For distributor, input tax will be rupees 600, that is output tax for wholesaler. Whatever will be output tax for wholesaler, it will be input tax for distributor because it is paid by distributor to wholesaler. It was rupees 600. And for distributor, when selling to retailer, he will collect the GST, that will be output tax, and this output tax for distributor will be input tax for retailer. So for distributor, output tax will be 12% of 6,000, and that is rupees 720. ITC rupees 600, that is output tax for distributor. So GST payable, so he paid rupees 600 as GST already. Now he collected rupees 720. So GST payable is output tax minus ITC, that gives rupees 120. Now for retailer, output tax is 12% of 6,500 because retailer sold it to consumer for rupees 6,500. So it will be output tax will be 12% of 6,500, and that gives rupees 780. But at the time of purchasing from wholesaler, sorry, from distributor, at the time of purchasing from distributor, he has paid an amount of rupees 720 as GST. So output tax minus ITC, 780 he collected, 720 he already paid to the distributor, and so he has to pay GST of rupees 60 only. So individual GST payable, CGST payable, SGST payable, you can calculate in this table wise. So it becomes very clear if you mention your answer in this manner. For wholesaler, GST payable rupees 600 because no information about its input tax. So half of this will be CGST and half will be SGST. For distributor, after subtracting the input tax, the GST payable rupees 120, out of which rupees 60 is CGST and rupees 60 as SGST. Retailer, same way, rupees 70, rupees 60 GST, so 30 CGST and 30 SGST. And total ये निकल जाएगा. Now coming to consumer. For consumer, price was, taxable value was 6,500, rate of GST 12%, and that was rupees 780. So amount paid by consumer will be taxable value plus ITC, and that gives 6,500 plus 780, that will be 7,280. So consumer has to pay rupees 7,280 rupees. He cannot avail any benefit of ITC. You know this. Now here, wholesaler to distributor, both are purchasing GST account. So it will be B2B tax invoice. Between distributor to retailer, again it is B2B tax invoice because both purchase GST registration and both are having GST number. But consumer does not have any GST registration, nor he is having GST number. And so this type of, he will not claim for input tax credit, he will not claim for ITC, and therefore this type of tax invoice is B2C, business to consumer type of tax invoice. Okay, so this is about the model answer. I hope you have understood it, and I stop here, and in next time I will meet again soon with a new topic and new logic. Till then, goodbye, have a nice day, keep practicing, keep learning, and have happy learning. Stay at home and be safe. Take care of yourself and your family also. We'll meet soon again with new topic, new logic. Till then, bye. Goodbye.